Coach, I know you said you weren't worried about Marcus's shooting, but was it comforting for you to see him get going there in the first half?
I mean, Markus is an explosive offensive player, and I was never concerned about his shooting. He's a guy that and the law of averages, it's going to average out, and certainly today he got going and really created some separation in the game early after not starting the game particularly well. Some of that is I thought Bethune-Cookman played really hard. Some of that is we had turnovers, but certainly Marcus's shooting was pretty good today.
And then obviously the 37 points is kind of the elephant in the room, but also a lot of rebounds and assists again. What have you noticed with him really developing that rebounding?
When your point guard can defensive rebound, it's a huge asset for your team. First of all, most teams don't send their point guards to the offensive glass, so he's a free rebounder. And then when a point guard gets a defensive rebound, your fast break is usually faster. If you think of, the great fast breaks over the course of basketball, for me, I think of the Showtime Lakers. And a lot of it started with Magic Johnson getting rebounds. And then, when the Nets had a run with Carter, Kidd, and Kenyon Martin, their fast break was so deadly because Jason Kidd was such a good defensive rebounder. And I'm not saying Markus is in their category as rebounders, but that's the impact a guard rebounder can have on a team. It not only finishes a defensive possession, but it's a great start to an offensive possession.
Coach, y'all had 2 points from mid-range all game. So has there been a focus on threes, layups, and free throws versus the mid-range shot?
Yeah. I mean, we've pretty much played that way, in recent years where, obviously we want to get the ball to the basket, and I thought we did that better tonight or this afternoon than we did in the first game, which was good. We want to utilize the three-point line because we have really good shooters. And an area I think we need to continue to improve upon is getting to the free throw line. I want to see our team get to the free throw line, and it's not like we'll never take a mid-range shot, but those shots are the best shots in basketball, and every metric supports that.
The 20-plus turnovers were a little unsightly. Is that just a result of the new guys kind of still finding their way with
our team, we're very much a work in progress. Our team is going to evolve over the course of the year. I think offensively we're not playing the way I would like us to play. And certainly one of the things that and you've been to our practices that drive me crazy are turnovers. And right now we're shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit, because if you look at our shooting percentages when we don't turn it over, we're a pretty good offensive team. So we have to clean that up, and we will. And I think day after day we'll get a little bit better at it, and obviously that's got to be a point of emphasis for us. So.
And then big game coming ahead against Indiana. I think it was 95 or 94 points, their two combined victory margins. What will be the key for going into that place? Not exactly easy environment either.
John, I really try to take it one game at a time. So, for me to have any comments about Indiana right now, I'm unprepared to do that. I do know that it's a great basketball program. Archie's one of the best coaches in the United States, and they have very, very talented players. But for me to get into it with any more detail than that, it wouldn't be fair.
Ed had, I think, 3 blocks. Was it kind of the interior presence you were looking from him when you got him as a transfer?
Yeah, I thought Ed was really good. I thought Ed was really good today. I told my team in the locker room that the first question I was going to get was about Markus, who's 37. And it was a good question. But it was a good question. I'm not busting your chops. But the play of the game occurred at 13:40 when the score was 8-4. Do any of you know what that play was? We turned it over, and we had about 3 guys on the court quit on the play, and we had 1 guy who didn't, and his name was Ed Morrow. And that was one of the best plays I've had a player make since I've been the coach at Marquette. It was the ultimate hustle play. It was a momentum play. And if you look at what we did from that point on, the game changed significantly. And I think a shallow approach is the game changed significantly because the basket got big for Markus. The play of the game was Ed Morrow's chase down block. And that's really good. And that's how we need Ed to play. And so Ed's, Ed's still learning too. I mean, when you transfer and you have to sit out a year, or you transfer as a grad, it's not easy. I don't know if anybody remembers Andrew Rousey's first month of the season. He stunk. But he ended up being a pretty darn good player. And so, and Andrew would tell you that. I'm not telling you anything I didn't tell him, so it's not a big secret. But he ended up being a darn good player. And so we got a lot of guys who are trying to get traction and learn our system and do the right thing. And so Ed's one of those guys, but he's going to be a very, very important player for us. And I thought he showed some real good signs today.
Good. Thank you.
You have no questions, Charlie? What are we going to have for dinner? What do you want to have for dinner? You got to get better at this, son. Thank you, guys.